Leaders in Conversation with Zizipho Nyanga.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Leaders in Conversation, where we talk to the C-suite leaders. We're talking all things corporate, culture, diversity and inclusion, as well as leadership. Today, we have a beautiful friend of mine as our guest. Her name is Zizipho Nyanga. She's a chartered accountant, and she's also the managing executive for SME and platform banking in one of the top banking company in South Africa. Welcome, Zizipho. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you. So good to be here.
Hello. Thank
so
you. Have a
excited.
seat. Yes, I'm excited to chat to you. And today we're talking about all things professional.
Yes.
And all things corporate.
Yes.
Yes. Which is your thing.
It's my thing. I wanted to say.
Yes, as a managing director, managing executive for small, medium enterprise and platform banking.
Yes.
Okay, so did you always know that you wanted to study and become a chartered accountant?
So I loved money from a young age. I think my parents noticed that I loved selling sweets, lollipops, and I was good in maths and accounting.
Yeah.
So they made a decision for me to become a chartered accountant. At the time, I didn't even know what a chartered accountant was. And I thank them for that. It could have gone wrong. They could have chosen a career for me that I'm not passionate about. But I think the fact that they could see the talent that I had as a kid and marry that with education is something that I'm grateful for. And I think also when I was growing up in high school, there was a lot of teachers that were motivating us and inspiring us to really create rather than just consume. So I really
I love the concept of creating rather than consuming. Yeah,
I took that as my motto from earlier on, to just create rather than consume.
So tell me, what subjects did you study in high school?
So I did maths, and it showed me flames. I won't lie. I won't sit here and pretend as if maths wasn't difficult.
You were an A student.
So I did maths, accounting, and I also did typing.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and economics.
Typing and economics,
yes.
Okay. So tell me, when you then transitioned and moved into university, how was that transition for you? And which university did you study at?
So I went to the University of Transkei to do my junior degree. It was the previously disadvantaged university. But it was also the university that produced the first black chartered accountant, both a man and a female. Yeah. So we were very much inspired to go to that school. But I went there because I didn't have money. My mother had passed away. My dad had been retrenched, so we only had 2,500 from my sister to just register. And thankfully for TEFSA, I think it's now NEFSAS, yes, I was able to enroll there. So I went to University of Transkei to do my junior degree, and then I did my honors higher diploma in accounting at Wits after getting a bursary from one of the big construction firms.
That's nice. So talk to me about, as you were transitioning now from university going into the corporate space, how was that transition? Just talk me through your career journey.
It was tough. Remember, in high school, you were one of the clever students, also coming from a challenging upbringing. I buried myself in books, and therefore I did well at school. And transitioning from the University of Transkei to University of Witwatersrand, it was a huge shock to the system. I had never seen so many computers in my life. I also hadn't seen people driving their own cars, going to their own
school.
Yes, I'm like, no, aren't we all staying here?
Yeah, yes.
People are going to their own flats and driving their own cars.
And
so it was a
flats outside the school.
Yes. Where do they get the money to do that? Right?
Yeah.
I'm just grateful that I managed to get a bursary to stay here. So it was a culture shock. When I moved from varsity to my first job, I think the biggest culture shock was the racial integration. I had been used to be with mostly Africans, and now I'm in one of the big 4 firms, and it's very diverse, and you now have to be confident. So my confidence was really
Battling a bit?
broken a bit, because now all of a sudden there's all of us trying to compete for the best accounts to audit, trying to compete for promotion and all that stuff. So I always look at graduates, even now at work, and say to them, I wasn't always this confident. I made a decision to be confident because in a work environment, even if you're not leading people, you must first lead yourself, and confidence plays a huge role in that.
I couldn't agree with you more. So you started in an accounting firm, right?
Yes. That was my first job, yeah.
Yes, talk us through that up until you're managing, executive role.
So I started at an accounting firm to do my articles. So the CA route is very much structured. You do your junior degree, you do your honors, you do your articles, you write the first board exam and the second board exam. So I started at one of the accounting firms, and I fell pregnant. So
life happened.
That was not part of the plan, right? And I didn't have my mother at the time. She had already passed away when I was 15. So you will know, for the first child, a mother is a very important support structure in that. So I had to make a decision to leave my son with my sister and my dad back in the Eastern Cape, so that I can focus on the board exam, which I passed, and I'm grateful. So that's some of the sacrifices that I had to make during my articles and passing those board exams. And then I decided to go to the United States of America for 3 months to just explore.
To that decision? What led to that decision? Talk us through that.
I mean, I've always wanted to go to the States. I believe, there's the American dream, right? And I always thought...
So a South African girl living an American dream.
Yes. I always wanted to see what Americans do, what can I learn and bring back to South Africa. So I really enjoyed my time there. I was exposed to auditing an IPO, getting exposed to that for the first time. And I must say, Americans thought that we were living with tigers and lions.
At home, in our house.
Zebras. So they were very much intrigued at the fact that here's this African coming here and they can audit the same way that they're auditing. So it was a great experience. And it also taught me about entrepreneurship as well. That's when my love of entrepreneurship really was solidified, because Americans are very good at starting businesses and selling anything.
We're going to go through that, your outside interest. So what career advice would you give to aspiring chartered accountants?
The aspiring chartered accountants. So after I left the accounting firm, I then decided, okay, let me get into entrepreneurship and just figure out what it is that I want to do and burn my fingers. And I did burn my fingers. And then I went back to corporate. The first lesson I want to share with aspiring chartered accountants is to really surround yourself with the right support structure and mentors. Because when I ventured into entrepreneurship and burnt my fingers, I was able to call my
mentors support structures,
and my senior managers at the accounting firm where I was at, to say, I'm in trouble, I started this business and it's going down, I don't have a cent, things.
I need to go back.
I need to go back. So if you don't burn your bridges, then it's easy to call people.
Very important. It is very important, not burning your bridges. So what other advice would you give them?
So that was the first one. The second one is really to never stop learning. So personal growth is a very big passion of mine, and continuous learning as a professional. Just because you are qualified as a chartered accountant after you finish those 3 years of articles doesn't mean that that's the end. Now other people will go through big things and do MBAs and all that. I didn't do that. I went the route of saying, I will do short courses, I will do executive development programs, I will zoom into the area that is actually
of interest to you.
Of interest to me, rather than being all over the place. But at the same time, the advice is also around the money. The money didn't necessarily follow me immediately.
After wanting to become a CA because of the money.
Yes, right? And so the route that I chose versus some of my friends that were also chartered accountants was totally different. People were making millions and I was still
struggling.
Trying to figure out when
is your next million coming?
Exactly. Where's the route taking me? But I was patient. So the second lesson to not burning your bridges is know what you want and be patient. In pursuing it in your career. And lastly, build your brand. If you are in the accounting firm, how do you build your brand? You talk to the senior partners, you talk to senior managers, you ask for advice, you ask for feedback. Outside that, you talk to people that are in other accounting firms, you talk to your clients, you understand what value can you add, how can you improve what you're offering, and really upskill yourself as you're going along.
And I'm hearing you saying also nurturing the relationships that you are building along the way. How important is that?
It's very important. Everything revolves around relationships, right? So if I didn't have the right relationships, I wouldn't necessarily be able to call and say, I'm in trouble. My house is about to be taken. I don't have money because the entrepreneurial venture that I was so excited about is not going very well. Also, even now, if you are going to a board meeting or if you have a client proposal or whatever is going on in your career, do you have, if you look at your phone, do you have people that you can call
on speed dial?
On speed dial.
That can support you through your career.
Exactly.
I love that. I love that. So talk us through your role as a managing executive for small, medium enterprise and platform banking. So what does that role entail? So what do you wake up and do? Because people often want to know, what does Zizipho do, you know? And what's your daily job? What is it that you do in that role?
My job, in a nutshell, is to help entrepreneurs succeed by providing them with finance to start their businesses, to run their businesses, to grow their businesses. I work for one of the financial institutions, and we really are trying to make a mark in addressing the issues of access to funding is a big issue for entrepreneurs. And also access to markets. You're starting a business, but you don't necessarily know what you're going to sell. And then lastly, technical support and business support. Entrepreneurs will get into the journey as one-man band. And it's tough, you know, so you need the support that you need. So I wake up and think about who else can I assist in those areas.
That's quite a challenging job. That must be very challenging. We've got so many young, you know, enthusiastic entrepreneurs, but we don't all make it. So how do you know, or what advice would you give to entrepreneurs that are looking for funding, are looking for the support that you're talking about? What is it that they need to prepare in order for them to be marketable and get access of those funding and access to those markets?
Yeah, so first is the mindset. If you sort out your mindset, the journey is going to be very much difficult, the entrepreneurial journey. So if you feel like giving up, you must be able to motivate yourself. Also, you must be able to validate your own ideas before seeking validation externally. Because you might come and say, I want to sell this cup of water, and then someone's like, no, man, there's a lot of people that are selling water. What's so special about you? So if you're not confident and you're not minding how you think and validating your own ideas first and backing yourself first, then you're going to struggle. And then secondly, just do the research. Entrepreneurs are very, very busy people. They don't have time. You often hear entrepreneurs say, time is money. It is money. I know, right? Time is money. But the things that you don't want to invest in research is very important because it's going to save you time. You're not going to be knocking at the wrong doors looking for help.
Wrong information.
Exactly. People are not going to, you're knocking at the wrong door and you're looking for A, B, and C. They're like, no, we don't do that.
Yeah.
If you had researched, you would know that this one does this one does that. And secondly, accountants must be your friends, right? I'm not just saying that because I'm a chartered accountant, but it all boils down to numbers.
Money.
Right? So you're selling this, whatever product or service that you are selling. Do you know if you're making money or you're just happy to wake up and fulfill an order, only to realize that before you even left your office,
you were on minus.
You are on a loss, operating on a loss. So financial records and understanding the numbers is very important. Even if you are not an accountant yourself, get someone who can do that. And then the other one is lawyers. People always talk about don't sign things that you don't know.
Yeah.
And when you're partnering with others, shareholders, you know, you must think about the end before it comes. What if there's infighting amongst shareholders? Your shareholders' agreement is not watertight. And then around markets, really, you are in business to make profit. Otherwise, if you are not in business to make profit, then go run an NGO.
Yeah.
That is the purpose of an NGO, to do what you need to do, but you're not
fulfill a passion, but not necessarily profits.
Yes. Otherwise, if you don't distinguish between a non-profit organization and a commercial enterprise, you're going to wake up thinking that you're in business and you can't pay your employees, you can't pay your overheads, you're not growing, you are stressed.
Yeah.
Right? So it's very important to understand the numbers and also just overall legal finances, markets. Are you waking up to sell something that is going to make you money? Which is linked to pricing. I could go on and on. And on. You know, I'm passionate about
this. I see you are very passionate about this. You can go on and on. So we are going to go to an ad break and then we'll be back with the conversation to continue with Zizipho Nyanga, who is the Managing Executive for SME and the platform banking. So stay tuned.
Welcome to Doughty Moments, our home for fun, creativity, concept creation, floral design, and all things beautiful. This is a space for our clients to come and talk to us about their event vision, be it a wedding, a party, a corporate event, any event of any kind, really. We play around with ideas here. We laugh. We sometimes have a nice glass of wine or whiskey to keep their creativity coming. Above all else, we've created a space for our clients to relax, visualize their event, and be excited about it. We absolutely love what we do. We are so passionate about creating these beautiful moments for our clients. We are addicted to seeing our clients' happy faces when they step into that moment where their vision has come to life. We live for those moments. True to our name, we still thrive to dote over all of our clients as well as we possibly can. We are Doughty Moments.
Welcome back to the Leaders in Conversation. I am still with Zizipho Nyanga, the Managing Executive for SME and Platform Banking. So we are going to get to some of the challenges that you had experienced in corporate while you transitioned, because we find a lot of young black, especially black women that are struggling in corporate and struggling to fit in to the culture in corporate, etc. So what are some of the challenges that you experience in corporate?
So I've already highlighted the confidence issue. We have to work on our confidence. We have to work on our mindset. A lot depends on yourself before anyone else. The other challenge I faced was racism. And racism from a subordinate even earlier on in my career. But I was fortunate because I had bosses that really were supportive of me. And I'm generally a person who doesn't shy away from confrontation. I mean, the things that are against my values, respect being one of them, I really fight for those things. So knowing my values was very important earlier on in life, because when the person oversteps the mark of respect, even if it wasn't racism, the fact that the value of respect was
and the boundary was crossed,
I was able to identify and deal with it immediately. So my bosses were very supportive. I raised the issue with the person involved, and I raised the matter with the senior management, and it was taken care of immediately. I think I learned from that early on that you mustn't put things under the carpet in corporate, but you must know how to address the things. You know, I could have easily fought physically or whatever thing, because it's a very
scary,
sensitive matter. But I composed myself, and I had to sit back and say, okay, this is a problem. I raise it with the person to say, you will not do A, B, and C with me. It's not acceptable. And then I identify the people that I'm going to deal with. And secondly,
and you're reminding me, because my former boss used to say to me, don't fight the man, fight the ball.
Yes.
Yes, so that comes with that composure, because you could have easily fought the man.
Yes.
But you were not fighting the man, you were fighting your values.
Yes.
Which is the ball.
Yes. There's a saying in Xhosa that talks about pigs that are fighting, and you get into the fight with the pigs. People are not going to know.
And you become one of the pigs.
Yes. People are not
agree.
going to know who started the fight and all that stuff. And I've learned in corporate, people that are perpetrators of wrongdoing are easily, the manipulation can easily tend to where you are seen as the person who perpetrated the issue, and they are all of a sudden a victim. So pulling back and deciding, okay, how am I going to react to this thing really helps. So that's one of the ways I have been able to manage that situation. Further on in my life, I came across something called Queen Bee syndrome, where women in particular use processes and systems to actually sabotage each other. I never, for the longest time in my career, I never had an issue with working with women. I love working with women. My team is always made up of more women than not. And I'm a mother of 2 boys, so I'm not against the other gender. But when I experienced the Queen Bee syndrome, then I realized this is what people are talking about. You can't touch this thing, but you can certainly feel that this person is really moving in a subtle manner to sabotage everything that you are doing.
More like gaslighting?
In today's terms, right? So that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned. And I think, again, taking a back seat and saying, okay, I've noticed a certain pattern with this person, and I've noticed this is how they act.
Yeah.
What must I do? Prepare more when you get into meetings. Do your research. Surround yourself with the right people. Don't rely on only yourself or one person. Find a way of getting the support structure within the corporate so that you can really get around those. The last thing, Norma, that I want to highlight, being an African woman, it is still true that there's few of us around the table. So there are things that I've learned that you mustn't create an environment and a situation for yourself to fall into the very trap that you don't want. For example, you mustn't find yourself making tea for everyone. Why can't they make tea for themselves? Right? If there's minutes to be written, why should it be me that's writing the minutes? I'm taking my own notes. Let's all take notes, you know, if really we need to. So there are things that you mustn't do to perpetuate certain stereotypes as a woman in corporate, as an African in corporate. And there are other people that are looking at you as a leader, being inspired by you. You have your own struggles, but don't add petrol into the fire.
Yes, I fully agree with you.
You know.
So tell me, we understand that we still have an underrepresentation of women, particularly black women, still in corporate, whether it's in high-level positions, which is your C-suite leaders, whether it's in boards, how can we change that, the stats? How can we ensure that we create environments that are inclusive of women?
I think it has improved. We must give ourselves credit, right? Things have improved. The fact that you and I are sitting here, both, women in leadership, you've been in corporate yourself, you're running your own business, it speaks volumes. We have really done a lot that our ancestors were dreaming of, and they must be proud wherever they are, right? But there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. So I think for me, in my career space, organizations like African Women Chartered Accountants, ABASA, which is advancement for black accountants, BMF, Black Management Forum, all these associations, it's not for show, it's to create support structure for us to be able to support each other and advance the interests of this group in particular. So I think it all boils down to ourselves to have a seat at the table. If there's no seat, create
a seat for
the
you.
seat for yourself. And secondly, the men in our lives, our husbands, our brothers, our nephews, they must all support the movement to create a space for us. But it's not a women against men situation. I think you will agree with me, anything that's got to do with a woman multiplies. So we are nurturers, we give birth to things. We're able to make ends meet.
Things grow under us.
Yes, if you have 5 rand as a woman and you give 5 rand to the other gender, no offense, you can do a lot of things with the small amount of money that you have compared to someone else, because we are resourceful. So I think it's important for us in boards to really value the diversity that is brought by women, the nurturing, the values that are really feminine in approach, because without that input from women, a lot can go wrong.
I couldn't agree with you more. So what are some of the mistakes you have made in corporate as a leader?
Oh my goodness. Thinking about this, I think one incident comes to mind. At some point in my career.
For more from Leaders in Conversation with Zizipho Nyanga, you can continue listening to the rest of this episode on your audio streaming service app. Our podcast is available on various audio streaming platforms. Details in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.